Hi, my name is Adam Gell, and today I'd like to discuss the subject of our own self-acceptance, which I think is one of the key components to us actually living in a sense of peace and calmness. First off with ourselves, but in the company of other people. And I think many times in our lives, when we reject parts of ourselves that we don't feel are adequate or sufficient for our own standards, we take these feelings with us in the external world. And when we interact with people, we sometimes feel like we don't fit in or we don't belong, or we feel like we're rejected. In my experience, I think the rejected parts we feel externally are the parts that we've rejected within ourselves, the parts that we felt weren't good enough, that we didn't like. And when we don't deal with these feelings, they somehow play out in the outer world where we become the victim of circumstances or the victim amongst friends or people, or just not feeling good enough. And I think it's important for us to incorporate all parts of ourselves. I stress this part of incorporating the parts we rejected, the parts that we felt weren't good enough. We really can't dismiss them, and just because we forget about them doesn't mean that it's not lurking or that it doesn't exist. It plays in the background. And it's almost like an app that just drains on the battery of your phone. It drains on our growth, our own personal growth. So I think it's important for us to validate the pains we feel and the inadequacies we feel about ourselves. And I think it's important for us to work through them and deal with them. And I think we then become more complete. And then in the external world, we don't feel inadequate with other people. In other words, we don't displace this inadequacy or this feeling of not good enough in situations that are outside of ourselves. So one of the things we can do is to try to bring back the inner child and to see the part of ourselves that was wounded or didn't feel like it was up to par with what we thought everybody else was. And the other aspect of that is also we really don't want to compare ourselves to anyone else, because comparing ourselves puts us in a sense of giving our power away and trying to be something we're not. So let's make sure that we try to incorporate the parts of ourselves, or at least validate and shine the light on parts of us that we didn't feel were good enough. And I think it will help us feel more complete. Doing that on a daily basis, just sitting with these energies or these thoughts, is probably a good thing to practice on a daily basis. Okay, I hope you have a great day, and see you next time.